Evening. I'm gonna hit record on our calls just so people who are coming in late or who miss it can catch up. So a couple things for you guys this week. Many of you have already seen this, but I so appreciate you getting your assessments done early because my mom and sister are coming into town. I'm really excited. My mom's birthday is on Sunday, so we get to have my sister and my mom here from Thursday through Monday, and my sister's actually never seen our house. So we've been in our house for over 2 years. So she has not seen our house. So I'm really excited to see her and my mom. It's going to be a really great time. And we're going to celebrate Alabama playing Tennessee, and hopefully we will win. That's the goal. But in addition to that, don't forget, guys, we still have our new Formula One Clear flavor available. It is here to stay. The launch went so well that Rainbow Sherbet or Sherbet, however you prefer to say it, is here. And I'm really excited to see what you guys continue to think of it. A couple of the local girls that were here last weekend, they got to try it when we did our walk-in Yap, and they loved it. Such a light, refreshing flavor. Nicole, I'd love for you to share your opinion of it because if you got it, I want to hear. You said delish, but like, would you concur that it is very light and refreshing?
Yeah, I honestly, I'm just unmuting because that's easier for me.
Yeah, please.
So I think I typically don't love rainbow sherbet. I feel like it's almost like too sherbety, if that's
It
even
can
a
be.
word.
Yes.
Where this is like it's very light. I want to do it with like a Ninja Creamy and do like a snow cone situation.
Yeah. Ooh,
But
that
yeah,
sounds
I
good.
thought I was a little anxious about it, and I was like, "This is really good." And I have one more really funny thing.
Yeah.
So. Willow, I was doing her hair for family pictures on Monday, and she comes upstairs and she's got this like white powder all over her face. I'm like, okay, that's really weird. And she's like, well, I ate that ice cream. And I'm like, I don't know what the heck she's talking about. So then this morning we're getting ready, and I was mixing some up, and she's like, that's that ice cream I ate because she saw ice cream on the package and thought it was ice cream. So she just like helped herself to like a scoop straight. And it was Willow approved as well. So.
If you can handle a scoop straight, you can handle anything, as far as I'm concerned. That is hilarious. There should be a warning that's like mixed with water, but not necessarily that she would maybe even be able to know the warning. But you're like, yeah, what did you get into? I have so many questions why you have white powder on
Was
your
so
face.
confused. I was just like, why is there white powder all over? And my husband's like, this like does not look like this like automatically goes to like the worst. He's like, this does not look like a good situation. I'm like, it's protein powder. I'm like,
But still,
but
also like, I can agree this does not look like a good
yeah, no,
situation. Oh
like
my
these are
gosh. Well, you know
the
what?
separate counter.
Leave it to Willow, right? So we all should learn from Willow's lesson and not eat the protein powder. You mix it with water. But I'm glad that you said that too, Nicole. It definitely is light and refreshing. And rainbow sherbet, yes, it can be very sherbety, but I think we captured the lightness of the flavor. So you still get the flavor, but it's not like it's not sour, it's not bitter, it's not creamy, it's not anything like that. It honestly tastes like the push pops, like that my grandparents used to have in their freezer for us. So it's really, really good. So just wanted to mention that, but it still is available and it is here to stay, which is so exciting. So in addition to that, now I don't think we have any new product releases. I said this last time and I should have shut up, but I don't think we have any new product releases until Black Friday when we bring back Peppermint Mocha as well as Peppermint Mocha Collagen. The other thing is we did release new hydration sticks. I have tried them. They are phenomenal. The salted lime is actually really good. It kind of tastes like the salt on the rim of a margarita, but it's not like so salty. It's very subtle. And then we have salted watermelon. I have not tried that one, but it's kind of our upgraded version of hydration sticks. So if you're not someone who's training super hard, you could do a half of half of a stick instead of a full one. Nicole, you'll have to let us know what you think of the watermelon when you do it. But there are just so many more electrolytes, vitamins, minerals. Like basically, it's our souped up version. I did get word we will bring back the regular hydration sticks as well, but these are again, the sport ones. So if you're sweating a ton, they're really good. Or again, the way to use the sport ones is just using half of the packet and then save the other half of the packet for the next day. So Logan and I snagged those for like our really intense training days and when it's super hot here in Alabama. So those will be nice. But anyway, into our topic this week, because I think we're talking about a topic that we all need a few reminders of, right? Um, Oh no, Christy, it is definitely so. Christy said, is it like super sweet? I feel like the original were a bit sweet for me, even when I used to have. No, it does not. Salted lime does not taste sweet to me at all. If anything, it's tart. It's a little bit tart and bitter, which I'm assuming watermelon is going to be like as well. But it's not like bitter where you're like, oh, I can't get it down. It's just salted lime, like truly like rim of a margarita glass. It's really refreshing. So yeah, definitely not as sweet as the strawberry or the citrus or the lemonade. I agree that the lemonade's a little bit sweeter. So that hopefully that helps. But our topic that we're talking about this week is just how do you win the mental battle with yourself when the mentality is sneaking in, when it's not positive for you? What are some things that you can remember? And the first thing that we have to know is every single one of us struggles with this, right? You are not unique in the fact that you have mental battles with yourself, or you try to discount your progress, or it's not happening for you, or you're just really frustrated with results. All of us go through that. That is a normal part of a fitness journey. And it actually tells you, you're changing in life because you want to be better. You want to see those results. You want to have that sense of feeling and accomplishment. That tells you that your drive is different than a lot of people. So that's really positive. So the first thing I want to remind us all is that our journey is not necessarily linear, right? It's not a straight line from point A to point B. It would be really, really cool if it was, but results absolutely are not linear. Many of you have seen this probably in your weight loss journey as well. What happens? Well, we start up here, we tick down a little bit, and then maybe we hit a plateau. And then we move down a little bit, and then we kind of hit a plateau. And we move and we hit a plateau. Right? The body is adapting along that. Or maybe we go down a little bit and we go up and then we kind of come back down and everything I've seen it all, right? I've seen way down and then we kind of have to regulate up and move from there. But remembering that those results, especially the scale, all those things aren't always linear. Your body, when you don't think you're changing, think about the things that maybe internally are changing that you can't physically see. One of those being, are you rebuilding muscle, right? That is one thing that I've noticed on my journey the past 3 months, especially getting my hormones figured out and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, my scale weight is not changing, but my body is looking a lot different. So I must be rebuilding muscle. I must be repairing that. The other thing too is, are you balancing hormones in that time, right? So many of you guys probably from coming, before like coming to the Invictus Core, I can almost guarantee it. Many of you were not eating enough. You were not eating enough of the right things on your journey. It's typical for a lot of us to undereat on our journeys or not eating, again, enough amounts of things that we ultimately need to be. And when this happens, right, our hormones get out of whack. So when we start actually eating what we're supposed to be doing, the body starts to balance, the hormones start to balance, especially with all of us females on here having a certain fat goal. We have a fat goal because fats are required for developing hormones and making those hormones. So maybe you're balancing your hormones, or maybe you're getting better at adapting to stress before the scale shows it. Because any time that the body has any sort of stressor, whether it be a good exercise stress, not so fun work stress, a lack of sleep stress, a family situation stress, body's going to hold on to water, right? Our bodies are so smart and so intuitive that they go into preservation mode. And when they go into preservation mode, right, we take that back to our ancestors, our hunters gatherers. What did they do? Well, they fasted all day and then they ate one big meal and then they fasted all again the next day until they had one big meal, right? So our bodies are made for survival. We're made to keep fat on us. We're made to do those things in time of stressful situations. That's just biology because we don't ultimately know when we're going to have our next meal, right? So we hold a lot of that stuff, which it's also important to remember that all of these things influence the scale as well, right? For every 100 grams of carbohydrates that you consume, your body holds onto 400 grams of water. Let me say that again. For every 100 grams of carbohydrates you consume, the body holds onto 400 grams of water. It is very insane, but it also goes to show why you can fluctuate on the scale anywhere from 3 to 5, sometimes 7 pounds a day, right, guys? That's not true weight. That's just water retention and all of those different things from eating, from not eating, from being stressed, lack of sleep, balancing your hormones. All of that stuff is going to affect the scale. Absolutely all of it. So knowing that again, the hidden progress trap we fall into because we think, oh, well, the scale's not changing and the measurements aren't changing. So like I must not be doing anything. And I want you guys to sit back and ask yourself, if you're tracking your macros every day, if you're working out every day, do you really believe nothing is changing? The answer is no, right? It's hard, but do we really think that absolutely nothing internally is changing? And the answer is no, right? Things are changing and we may not feel it yet, but every single day that you show up, things are changing, which is why we take progress pictures. I know nobody really loves to take progress pictures, but I can tell you guys, I am so grateful every single time I take those pictures because I just compared month to month with my coach and I was like, honestly, Monica, I was like, I didn't even feel different, but I can see a difference. I look different, and I'm grateful for that. So many people on their journeys, they don't want to take those photos, and then they take them and they're so grateful they can look back on that journey. And in addition to that, too, is your energy up, right? Why do you think we ask about energy? Why do you think we ask about mood? Are your clothes fitting looser? What's non-scale victories? All of those things matter. Again, it's not just the scale. It can't be about the scale because the scale is a liar a lot of the time. Like I said, you eat 100 grams of carbs, that's 400 grams of water. So your body, again, it needs a carrier to be able to process through those things. So don't get hidden or fall into that hidden progress trap where you think nothing is happening. Now, let me say too, guys, it's normal to have crash outs, right? It's normal to be like, oh my gosh, nothing's happening. But something I was speaking to today is, especially for women, guys, look at what time you're in your cycle, right? I know I am very mean to myself in my luteal phase of my cycle. So we've got menstrual phase where we bleed. We've got follicular phase leading up to ovulation, right? If you're trying to conceive, ovulation is the only time you can get pregnant in your cycle. Then we have luteal, and then we go back to menstrual. After I ovulate and before my period, I'm just very mean to myself. I don't speak kindly to myself and whatnot, but I started to notice that as a pattern. And I recognize that anything I say during that time cannot be taken for gospel. I just look at my calendar. I'm like, well, that's why. Just nobody talk to me until the end of the week, right? But us women, again, it's so different than men because we're on anywhere from a 28 to 32-day cycle, depending on how long yours is, where guess what? Men's hormones reset every 24 hours. Every single time the clock goes around or a day comes around, the men reset, right? That's where they view a lot of things differently than we do, or they can be so much more even keel. But I remember having a conversation with Logan. This was years ago, but like it just came up again last week. And I told him, I'm like, I feel different every single day of the month. And he's like, how is that even a thing? I'm sure a lot of you ladies on this call or ladies watching the recording are going to agree with me, but I feel different every single day. I can feel really awesome one day and I can feel like garbage the next day. So you have to also be aware of like what's going on in your body processes. What are going on in the emotions that you're experiencing and where are you in your cycle for that too. So that's why a lot of the times when you guys are on your cycles and you step on the scale, I tell you just get off of it. Don't step on it until after your cycle is over or just put it away for a while. It's totally okay because guess what, guys? I can change at least 7 pounds if I'm on my cycle or not. Did I all of a sudden gain 7 pounds of fat? No, right? A pound of fat weighs 3,500 calories. That means to gain a pound of fat in a day, you have to eat an extra 3,500 calories. None of you are doing that, right? That's comforting. So again, it's not fat. A majority of our body is water. So it's just water weight fluctuating in and out of different things. And so there's a couple of reminders I want to mention. Second big point I have is taming the inner critic with reframing rituals. And a lot of us have that voice that says you're failing. You're not doing enough. It's just not enough. You could be doing more. You could be doing more. The good news for you guys here with us on the Invictus Core is you're already doing a hell of a lot more than a lot of people, right? You are paying attention to your input. You are paying attention to your output. You are paying attention to your water, your sleep. There's a lot of variables you are very much paying attention to controlling. And that's very commendable. It's a hard thing to do, right? That's why I say, any of you who say that you're not athletes, well, it's a pretty athletic thing to watch your food intake. It's a pretty athletic thing to focus on your sleep and quality of food that you're putting in your body and how you're training and all of that. So, how do we reframe that voice that says you're failing, you're failing, you're failing? Reframe it with, you know what? I might feel like I'm not making a ton of progress right now, but I'm learning what my body needs. I'm building sustainable changes. Many of you know that the first day you tracked macros, you probably didn't get it, nor did you probably get it the second day, or maybe even the third day. But hey, 3 months, down the road, you started to figure it out. You started to figure out, okay, this is what it looks like. So saying things like I'm learning what my body needs versus this isn't enough or I'm failing or I'm always going to have to do something else is really positive to allow yourself that growth, right? Consistency over intensity is always going to be important. Learning that you're building for the long game is also important as well. And I think so many of us get caught up in the now, right? And I've also shared this with you guys before, but it's such a great reminder. And that is when you see someone on their journey who's maybe 2 years into their journey, 3 years into their journey, guys, people don't walk around with billboards in front of them that show their before pictures, right? And it'd be really cool if we could see that, but we also forget that there's a lot of time and consistency that's put into that. And results you want to see in 2 to 3 months will take 2 to 3 years. It's just how it is. But also, we have to remember we didn't get to where we are overnight. And reversing it is also going to be something that's going to take time as well. But again, you're not failing. You're learning what your body needs. So I genuinely want you to ask yourself that. Okay, if today I hit my macros, I got my workout in, and I drank my water and I'm sleeping good, do I genuinely think that nothing's happening? And the answer is again, no, things are happening. Of course, everything is going to happen slower than we want it to, but that doesn't mean that those things aren't happening. And also, think about how you're going to be in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s versus maybe what you see your parents at now or you saw your grandparents at now, right? I shared with you guys that about 5 years ago, my dad lost 80 pounds in a year, and he had to because we were worried he was going to die. My goal is to never have to do that, right? To never get to where my dad was, that I'm like, oh crap, I got to lose 80 pounds in a year if I want to continue to live, right? That's terrifying to me. But every single habit that you show up with now is building purpose for that. Every single time you guys pick up weights and you strength train with Kelsey, you are fighting against osteoporosis. You are fighting against brittle bones. You're fighting against falling and breaking a hip and having to go into a nursing home, right? You're doing all of those things now. And we don't see it that way because what do you want to see? You want to see the scale go down by 10 pounds tomorrow, right? That's what we all really want. But what I want is to still be my 82-year-old grandmother who can squat all the way down to the floor, who can get onto the floor, who can get back up off the floor without any sort of assistance, who can man her 3-story home all by herself after my grandfather passed away because she's just independent, because she always took care of herself. That's what I want to be. That's what you're training for now, right? You're training for that future self. You're training that when your kids get busy and they are in need of a coach for the soccer team or the softball team or whatever, you're the parent that says, I could do that, right? I could step up. I could do that because I'm physically able to. That stuff is so important. And it's about the future. And like Nicole said, she has so many patients that wish they could do that. Right. I've been so inspired lately, you guys, by my sister's career. For those of you guys that don't know what my sister does, she's an orthotics and prosthetics tech. So she actually makes prosthetic limbs. Such a cool profession. And she is humbled every single day by kids who are bilateral amputees who just want to walk, right? And they're so excited to get their prosthetic and go. But we all here have two functioning legs and we're just like, well, I don't have to go, right? I've been so humbled by her career of what she's been able to do lately for people that I remind myself I have an able body and I'm so grateful for that. So fortunate for that as well. And so that helps me reframe my inner critic as well. If I say like you're failing, I remind myself there's probably somebody laying in a hospital bed right now that would kill to be able to do what you're doing or would love to be able to lift up some dumbbells or would really wish that they had the education that I have about nutrition or something like that. Now, can you let yourself have a 60-second crash out session or a 5-minute crash out session? Yeah, guys, get that emotion out. Absolutely. But then affirm yourself with those other things. Again, it's consistency over intensity. And one of my favorites is reminding myself, well, Kels, what's the alternative? Genuinely, what's the alternative? You throw in the towel and you just decide that you're done? right? If you don't feel like you're making progress while you're doing stuff, guess what you're absolutely not going to do? Make progress when you're not doing anything. So the alternative is to quitting. The alternative is to giving up and to stop trying. And we all know what quitting gets us, right? It's not going to get us anywhere. So it's okay that the progress is slow. I am not a coach who's going to coach you to unsustainable results. All of you guys have seen that. Every single person, one of you guys who have worked with me, you know that once I teach you how to get to the weight loss standpoint, you keep it off, right? It's not like it all comes back. I'm teaching you very sustainably how to do this. And sure, that may be slower than other coaches, but I'm not here to completely gimmick you and have to make you keep coming back and back and back and back and back and be like, well, let's try again. Sorry, you gained 30 pounds back. No, I want you to lose it and I want you to keep it off. But I also want you to remember about the future. I want you to think ahead for that too. And I want you to remind yourself that quitting is literally not going to do anything for you. Yes, and like Emily said in the comments, this is such a great point too. Same thing with medication and long meds list. I see so many people on pages and pages of medication. I feel horrible, and they don't even realize how horrible they feel, right? I always share the story when I was at my first practice. I was in a neurology office and I looked up a lady. She had over 25 medications she was taking, and 16 of them, you guys, had major interactions. And of course, she was medicated for all the side effects. And I went straight up to the neurologist and I said, does she know, like, when she's supposed to be taking these? Oh, yeah, some are AM, some are PM, some are, every other day or as needed. I'm like, you're trying to tell me a woman who is on 25 different medications is going to remember every time she has to take a certain medication? Not a chance. And when she looked at you, it was like lights on, nobody home. She had that glossed over look. It was terrible. It was so sad. But I was like, that's why I also vow to work when I don't feel like anything is working, because working when you don't feel like anything is working is actually preventing those things. So continue to remember that. And thirdly, the last couple points I want to leave you guys with is building your mental armor toolkit, right? Plateaus are really just plot twists in your journey. Like, hey, yep, we might have to shake something up just a little bit. Plateaus are not endings. They're not the final of portion of your story, right? They are going. We're going to keep going, right? It often just say, hey, maybe we need a signal, maybe we need a reset. When I feel like I'm hitting a plateau, something that I do is I dig in harder to what I'm currently doing. Okay, did I get my Train with Kelsey workouts in? How many miles did I commit to on the bike this week? Am I actually hitting my step goal? Am I actually tracking my nutrition the way that I need to be? And I'll be honest with you guys, for a couple of months, I stepped not entirely away from my food scale, but I wasn't weighing out things for lunch and different things like that. And what I started to notice is I actually was under eating again. And when I'd actually put, my serving of avocado onto the scale, half of an avocado in the app is one thing, but guess what? Half of an avocado on my scale is only like an ounce of avocado. That's very different, right? So I was over tracking some things because I was eyeballing. And even in the last 2 months of really dialing that in, I feel different. And I'm like, okay, Kels, were you just hitting a plateau or were you not being super honest with yourself on your journey? So if you feel like you hit a plateau for 2 weeks, ask yourself, am I truly doing everything I ultimately need to be doing to the best of my ability? And if the answer is no, there's your solution, right? There's your reset. I think that those things are important as well, but also know you can always come to me with that. You can share, okay, Kels, like, I feel like I'm hitting a plateau, something's going on. Well, some of the first questions I'm going to ask you, right, are, did you do everything that you said you're doing, right? Are you actually using your food scale or are you eyeballing everything? Are you counting licks and tastes and the extra little bit off your kids' plate at night? Or because all of that stuff matters, right? I shared with you guys, I think it was 2 weeks ago, what a serving of Dots pretzels looks like, right? Depressing, very depressing, but it's true. If I sat down, I could easily eat that half that bag. No questions asked. Absolutely no questions asked. So finding those little things is important, but building that mental armor toolkit, I take myself back to the mental armor of saying, okay, Kelsey, can you legitimately look yourself in the mirror and say you're doing everything you need to be doing right now? Because if you cannot, then there is gaps and you ultimately need to be able to fill them. Other ways to help build your mental armor, and it may not hear or feel like this, but scheduling active recovery days, guys. When are you actually not in the gym? When are you not picking up the weights and you're just focusing on steps? Your body does need rest to be able to move forward. Are you going to get an extra hour of sleep on Friday night? Are you going to take a nap on Saturday afternoon? What is that going to be like, right? Switching up things, a little bit of different variety. If you've been using sweet potatoes for the last 3 weeks, do me a favor, switch it up to Brussels sprouts and broccoli or something different. If you've only been eating chicken, you've only been eating beef, throw in salmon one time. There's tons of different ways to make it, tons of different ways for it to turn out. Try something different. And the last thing I have for you, because it ties in very well to what we're talking about the Facebook group this week, be and use this community as an anchor. You guys can always post in the Facebook group and say, hey, you know what? Here's what I'm struggling with. I'm struggling feeling like this. I'm struggling feeling like that. Vulnerability is really important. And showing up in a vulnerable way and in an authentic way, you never know who you're going to inspire. You never know who you're going to meet, right? So post a mental battle event in the Facebook group and, you know, that people are going to be there. They're going to be there for you. They're going to show up. Guys, use the Invictus Core ladies group chat. It's not just there for me to tell you stuff, right? I love when you guys use that. Or I know Nicole before is like, just trying to get through it, guys. 2 sick kids. Like it's been rough this week, but everybody is there for that support, right? But you will get out of it what you put into it. And especially many of us have unsupportive family and unsupportive friends, and leaning into this community is one of the best ways that we can continue to push each other moving forward. So that's a lot of information, and it's a long way of me saying and reminding you what you need to focus on for progress, what you need to focus on every single day. And now I hope you realize that you legitimately cannot say, if you're doing the things you need to be doing, that you're ultimately not making progress, because it's about doing the mundane things over and over and over with absolute relentless consistency. If you can do that and you can stick with it long enough, you're going to realize that, wow, someday everything is different, right? Day to day, things feel the same. But when you look back, everything is different. And that's what a lot of you guys are working towards. And that's why I, as your coach, will continue to remind you to look back, to ultimately look forward, but just know you're not unique in your mental battles. Everybody has them, everybody goes through them. It's completely normal. If you guys saw how many times I crashed out in the process of opening this new clinic and leaving my office and all that stuff, you'd be like, is she mentally stable? I'd be like, thank God for therapy. But with all of that being said, it's just important to remember that, again, you're not alone in this. We all want to help you and we all want to be there for you. But being kind to yourself, giving yourself some grace, realizing maybe as a woman where you are in your cycle, that's really important as well. And we'll all be able to move forward from there. So I'm excited to hear from you guys this week of just something you took away from the call. Let me know if it was a good reminder or if something specifically stuck out. That's going to help me a ton, because I don't think this is the last time we have to talk about this, or we should talk about it. So I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. Is there anything that anybody wants to say before we go? I'm glad you thought it was good. Yay, Emily, I'm glad. Awesome, Nicole. We're good? Okay. Well, I needed it too, so thank you guys for being here with me and talking it through with me. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll catch you next week for the team call. Bye.